Is it important to serve the Lord when no one is watching? I was reminded this morning, I was trying to get out of the house, and I think I was trying to get my coffee together, and I have a routine of trying to, feed the dog and everything. Well, what we have done, when we got our dog, we got her from a Walmart parking lot, got her from a car, and she was a puppy, and so I said, we did it wrong the first time with the dog, and when you go to feed the dog and you haven't trained it, it's sitting there trying to eat the food as you're pouring it into the bowl. And so what we did is one of the first things is taught the dog to sit. So do that, sit. She'll sit down. And also, on command, I'll say, eat. And so that way she has time to where she can go and she can get the food. And so I'm not going to make a mess. Well, in my haste, I poured the food, the dog's sitting, and I went in the house. Forgot to say eat. Well, I'm making my coffee, I'm focusing on my own belly, and it was probably maybe 3-4 minutes goes by, and I look in the window, and I see my dog's just sitting there staring at me. And I said, I didn't say it. So I go and I open the door, and I said, eat. She ate every bit of that food. And I said, wow, man, do we obey God when no one is watching? I thought, wow, my dog obeyed his master when he wasn't watching. And I'm not going to do that again, by the way. It made me think about how we serve God when no one's watching. There have been times I've gone visiting with a shut-in, and as I'm sitting there, I see somebody from the congregation coming into the yard pulling weeds, and nobody knew they were coming, and I caught them in the act of greatness. Went to see Sandra Leanne today. I got a call. I was leaving to go and get our boys from school, and Leanne called and let me know that David had passed. And so JJ just mentioned David Rawls passed away. But Sandra found him, and so she was in the house, and so I went straight to the house. And as we're sitting there, I've been there all afternoon. So what we found was that on Saturday, one of our elders, one of our deacons, helped mow the yard. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And what I found was incredible was one of David's best friends. His name is Jeff. I met him at Paul's Hot Dogs, and he had mentioned to me about David, and so we've always talked about David Rawls, and so they called Jeff. He came straight over. He got to talking about why he doesn't go to church because it's filled with all these hypocrites. And when he heard about an elder and a deacon mowing the yard for David, changed everything. Heard about something else as well, but it blew his mind of how much this congregation loved him. And it made me think about how we serve God when nobody else is watching. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus says, "Beware of practicing your righteousness before other people in order to be seen of them, for then you will have no reward from your Father who is in heaven. Thus, when you give to the needy, sound no trumpet before you, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may be praised by others. Truly I say to you, they've received their reward. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. When you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and at the street corners, that they may be seen by others. Truly I say to you, they've received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room, shut the door, and pray to your Father who's in secret, and your Father who sees you in secret will reward you." I want you to know Jeff was sitting there talking about all the experiences he's had with spiritual people, and he mentioned how it led to hypocrisy. But what was powerful is, and I think it's okay to mention this, but David Rawls was found with his communion cup, and it was empty. The last thing he did was worship his Father in heaven, in secret, in his room. He was an example to me. He was an example to Jeff. When I left the house, I said, "Jeff, am I going to see you at church?" He says, "You'll see me." So keep that in mind. When it comes to serving God, it's a daily thing, and we'll never know all of the impacts that are being made. And whether we catch someone in the act of greatness or not, we know who is, and that's God. He sees it. But who knows what those precious moments will do for someone who is jaded by hypocrisy. Can't blame them for being jaded by it. It's the opposite of Christ. Do you serve God when no one else is watching? I got an example from my dog today. And I got other examples from some powerful and very precious people. God be praised. And it made me think about how the fact that we don't know what is going on in this congregation. We don't know what is maybe taking place behind closed doors as far as needs. But when we see them, we feel them. And being able to see that is important. But maybe you're here tonight and there's something that you're struggling with. We have a loving and precious congregation. And I didn't have to see that to know it, but have seen it. Can we encourage you? Can we be here for you? Sometimes we're not going to be because we don't know. If you have a need tonight, please respond now while together we stand and while we sing.